Hello, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Dr. Mark Foster Show. This is getting to be a habit. Today is May 19th, 2013. Figured I would give another presentation in light of just some reflections I've been having recently on the subject of demi-reality and also duality, and how those two relate to the concept of non-duality. Of course, I am referring to Bhaskar's Critical Realism and his philosophy of meta-reality, where he does go into detail on all of those subjects. He does refer to the realm of non-duality as the cosmic envelope, as co-presence, as the ground state, and as meta-reality. They all might have slightly different emphases or add some dimensions to that basic concept, but I think they all are referring to that ground state of non-duality or unity, in other words, the condition of absolute oneness, what is referred to in classical Hindu Vedanta thought as Advaita, or non-duality. Then below that is the level of Dvaita. Dvaita is duality. Bhaskar refers to it as the condition of relative reality. In other words, it is the realm of differences as they appear relative to us. So when I look out and gaze at the environment around me, I see differences. Differences emerge in relationship to me. Those are real differences. Unlike, for example, the eminent Hindu philosopher and theologian Adi Shankara, one of the originators, perhaps the major one, of Advaita Vedanta, that non-duality is real, but duality is unreal. As Bhaskar says about non-duality, it is as real as steel. And similarly, the realm below that, which is what Bhaskar refers to as demi-reality, is also as real as steel. Demi-reality is disunity. It is a condition of separation, division. Bhaskar in one place calls it splitting between people, splitting between myself and the other, a division between people which results in hostility and antagonism. Well, that's what we see in the world today. The world today is dominated by this world, this condition of demi-reality or disunity. Unfortunately, the crises that are occurring all over the world, whether in the Middle East, the proxy war that's been going on in Lebanon, or rather in Syria, in Lebanon too, to an extent, but primarily in Syria, between the United States and Russia, and China as well. The conflicts that exist right now in North Korea, the problems with domestic terrorism here in the United States. Just recently we had the first major domestic terrorist incident at the Boston Marathon since September 11th of 2001. The economic crisis in Europe and in the United States as well. Other countries, including even China, are suffering as a result of this worldwide economic crisis. global capitalism seems at death's door. On one level, I'm not unhappy about that. I despise capitalism. I don't like the capitalist world system, the name that Emanuel Wallerstein uses for it. And my feeling about it ending, in a sense, is good riddance. The emperor has had no clothes. All of a sudden, we're recognizing that. But, on the other hand, there is the human dimension to it. It's one thing to speak on a theoretical level about the end of the capitalist world system. It's quite another to take into account the enormous human suffering that people will go through and are going through in some places as a result, as a direct result of the collapse of that system. So my feelings are mixed. I would like it to fall. I think ultimately what will succeed it, eventually, perhaps not in any of our lifetimes, will be much better, but it's going to be a long road. The late Shoghi Effendi, the guardian of the cause of God in the Baha'i faith, reportedly said, and this is what is called a pilgrim's note, meaning it's not something that he actually wrote with his own hand, it's not a comment or statement or letter that was written on his behalf by one of his secretaries. It's a reported utterance by a pilgrim to the Holy Land, to Israel. Nonetheless, I'll mention it. In this pilgrim's note, Shoghi Effendi reportedly said that the earth in the future will be inhabited by mostly darker-skinned peoples. Well, why is that? I think when we look at the world today, the reasons become quite obvious. The centers of materialism, the places that Abdul-Baha, Shoghi Effendi, the Universal House of Justice have warned, are places that are dominated by lighter-skinned people. So, in other words, in the future, apparently, if that statement is accurate, the world in the future will be made up of people that today, primarily, we call people of color. So-called white people might exist for a time, until there's more intermarriage, I suppose. But for the most part, we are in a period, fortunately in a sense, of the end of whiteness. Now, I have long ago given up referring to myself as a white man. The term whiteness only makes sense when considered in relationship to blackness. That's where the term originated. A white person was someone who was not black. So I won't call myself by that name anymore. I see no reason to refer to myself by any name. I honor the right and the duty, perhaps, of people of color to identify themselves as such. For Native Americans and other indigenous populations around the world to identify themselves as being indigenous and by whatever name they choose. But the label whiteness, I think it will very, very quickly go out of fashion. In my case, if I refer to myself as anything, I follow the guidance of Shoghi Effendi, who said that people of Jewish background should say that they are from the Jewish race, These days we'd probably say the Jewish ethnicity, same basic idea. But that I am a Baha'i. The Baha'i faith is my heart. My Jewishness is my body, is my ancestry, is my genealogy, my genes. But the heart is what really matters. My spiritual family in the next world is made up of people of all different earthly ancestries. So, this moment of time that we are living in, of tremendous division, disunity, demi-reality, means that we are being exposed to the fact that, in a sense, we have been living in a chimera, in an illusion, or what the Hindus say in Sanskrit, maya, unity, or rather illusion. We are finally recognizing that and waking up to that, I think, or at least many people are. And that is really what waking up is. Waking up is not this libertarian idea of accepting conspiracies, which is simply demi-reality, more us versus them stuff. But waking up is recognizing our essential oneness, and recognizing also that demi-reality, although it is real. It is a real condition. Disunity is real. It has real, genuine power over us human beings. Is an extraordinarily low level of reality. And so, from the perspective of the ground state, or the cosmic envelope, it is illusion. In a sense, it is non-existence. It's real, but relative to the higher reality, the highest non-dual reality, or unity, it ultimately has no reality. So to me, this concept of demi-reality is extremely important in the world today. Focusing on that and then throwing it away is, I think, the appropriate thing to do. We recognize it. We deal with it. We affirm that certain people are oppressed, and we struggle along with people who are oppressed for their emancipation. But we do that not by focusing on the demi-reality of oppression, but by focusing on the cosmic envelope of emancipation. So that is the direction I think we need to go in. We have a choice then between having this relative reality or diversity or difference being governed by unity in diversity, or being governed by demi-reality, disunity in diversity. And sadly, right now I would say, we are living in that demi-reality of disunity and diversity. These conspiracy theories, more disunity and diversity, populism, us versus them, elitism, us versus them, it's all demi-reality. It all must go. The spirit of the age is the spirit of unity. It is a spirit which obviously Roy Bhaskar has picked up upon. His wonderful pure heart turned to it, understood it, and was drawn close to it. And our hearts can be drawn there as well. So my encouragement in this program is that all of us recognize demi-reality for what it is, a chimera or illusion. It is real, but it's also not real. It's an unreal reality. It's delusional in a sense. If we think that by living in that world that we will actually get anything done, by fighting against an imaginary elite, or even a real elite, although I think imaginary for the most part, that will actually accomplish anything. Instead, we need to throw all that aside and begin focusing on the cosmic envelope. Until next time, this is Dr. Mark Foster. Have a good one.